Hi, everybody, and welcome to our official founders launch of Buddhas and Butterflies. I am so excited that I get to share this all with you today. I am doing this live on my personal page on Facebook versus my business page. And I know a couple of you might have to jump through an extra step or two to find me here. So I'm just going to make small talk for a minute or two, and then I promise not to do that for too long or drag things out, and we'll get right into it all here. Okay, so welcome. I'm looking forward to chatting with you all, and I've been getting lots of great questions, and I plan to answer those on today's call. I'll let you know a little bit more about the info and what this service and offer is all about, as well as stay tuned. We're going to be doing a little bit of the fun stuff. So we're going to get right into some of that transformational work. We're going to do some energy work, and we are using that to put the capper as an integrated piece on that 5-day challenge. If you haven't heard about the 5-day challenge, it is on transforming emotions into energy. Today is the very last day it is available. You can find it on my website, vibranttransformation.com. Just click on that. You can register for free only until midnight tonight. And on that, you'll have lifetime access to the 5 sessions where we go into the 5 emotions, 1 session for every emotion. The 5 emotion model is based on Chinese medicine. So we started our way by working with fear. It's important to take the fear cap off. I explain more about the methodology and the timing and how we go through all of these and why we chose to do them in the way that we did in this series. So I won't go too in depth into the theory of why it's important to take that fear cap off first before diving into anger, and then why I went into grief, worry, sadness, and overexcitement. And we are transforming all of those so that your experience can be of the vitality that our emotions are designed to do for you. If your emotions are running the show and you are glomming on to any available trigger out there, then that just leads to overreaction after overreaction, and we end up in a state of misery. Yeah. So this work is about being able to put emotions in a whole new light. You may never have considered emotions as emotion, energy in motion, but that's what they are. These vital energies are here to say hello, to support you, to be here for you, to be your anchor for you. They are your connections. They are your source of life. So unless we are saying hello to all of those things versus saying goodbye and trying to reject them, we end up leaving ourselves kind of high and dry. So in this series, we're going to talk about transforming your awareness of what emotions are meant to do, as well as we're going to work with each particular emotion. You'll have the opportunity to experience what that feels like in your body. We'll do a session on it, and we do some reveal and release work on it. It is honestly one of the most exciting series I've put together. And if you're the type of person who likes to eat dessert last, or you like to skip to the end of the movie or that book that you read first, then I totally recommend just diving in and doing the last one first. It is the one that's gotten the most feedback. Session number 5 is on transforming sadness and overexcitement into harmony and joy. Okay? So full permission, even if you're not that person, to dive into the end first. It's totally worth it. All right, loves, I'm seeing some people on. Hello. If you are near a keyboard, I'd love to hear where you guys are all from. I see lots of familiar names. Chelsea's with us. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Ashley. I see you. Amy, hi, right back at you. It's been so long since I've actually seen you in person. Oh my gosh, blast from the past. Nancy's here. Selena's here. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your time together in this way. I know I had a number of inquiries of asking, is this going to be recorded? Can I rewatch it later? I'm at work, etc. And always, yes, I am the queen of making recordings and information available for as long as possible. The one exception to that is, again, that transform emotions into energy piece that expires at midnight tonight. I take down all the YouTube videos. I take down all the Facebook videos. It goes away. If you want lifetime access to it, sign up on vibranttransformation.com. If you want other people to have access to it And I joke that it's free. It's actually almost free. It's free if you share it. So you have to share it in some way, whether that's a share on social media sharing, or whether you tell somebody about it, or whether I think people still talk to each other verbally out loud. That's still a thing, right? Yeah, okay. Good to know. And if you are available to share it in what other domain is most comfortable for you, then please do that. If that's an email, if that's a text, however it should be, okay? And my mission is to get this work out to the most amount of people possible. I have a total passion for serving healthcare practitioners, which is a very good segue into what we're about to talk about soon. Yes, Ashley, so excited about this. Me too, Ashley. Oh my gosh, this has been, you guys, over a year in the making to pull together all the resources to be able to step into this. I went on a sabbatical, as many of you know, about 9 months ago. And during that, I used that time to kick off a few new projects, even seeing a couple of them. And even though my sabbatical has come to an end, well, actually, I have till midnight tonight. My sabbatical officially ends tonight. I have another little gem in the works too. It just hasn't been rolled out yet, but I promise it'll be here in the next couple of months. So stay tuned on that baby. And oh, yes, you're welcome for recording it, Ashley. I know everyone's busy, right? Yes. So I agree, Amy. It's been way too long since we've said hello in person. I live here in Saskatoon these days, if that makes anything easier to make, face-to-face contact. So hello, everybody. Thank you to everyone who is recently joining us. Now, I've been teasing you about what it is we're about to dive into for, I think, far too long. And I do love a good tease, but I also love to just deliver. So let's talk about that. Buddhas and Butterflies is here. Woo woo! I am so excited that I get to share this with you guys. Honestly, I'm getting a bit emotional. It really brings tears to my eyes just knowing what this would have done for me when I started my work over 15 years ago. Oh man, this is a total game changer. Okay? In honor of Buddhas and Butterflies launch, I dug out my cute little sundress that has a picture of a Buddha and butterflies on it. So if you're wondering what I'm wearing, there's Buddha. I can't quite get all of it on the screen, and there's some little butterflies rolling around with Buddha. So I think the universe knew I was planning to do this. It gave me this sundress a few years ago, and here we are manifesting just from what we're having in our wardrobe. Who knew how important shopping could be? And that is full validation to go ahead and shop. All right, my loves. So as many of you know already, I absolutely adore helping healthcare practitioners, in part because I adore making a huge impact in the most efficient way possible. If you've ever taken a live seminar or a pre-recorded seminar with me, you know that I love efficiency. I love the easiest, fastest way to get things done to make the impact happen. And that leaves you more time to do all the things that you can have tremendous joy of in your life. And it gives you even more time to chew on other projects where you get to have even more impact. So impact leads to efficiency, which leads to impact, which leads to efficiency. And that is my dream. If I'm talking a little bit like a math science person, forgive me. I do have that in my background. I went to medical school. I have a passion for math. I have a passion for science. And I have a huge passion for the arts as well. Philosophy, psychology. And what do you get when you integrate all of those? You get vibrant transformation, my business. You get the work that I have been providing people for over 15 years. I can't believe that I've been doing that for 15 years. And in fact, before then, I was teaching. Still, I just didn't teach energy work, although I've been teaching energy work in various modalities over 15 years, primarily body talk and Helio Soul. Before that, I spent 10 years teaching in aquatics. I ran the numbers on like how many thousands of hours that I have taught, and it was like well over into the to tens of thousands. I stopped counting at that point. It's like, okay, I've logged a lot of hours teaching, and I don't do anything that I don't have a passion for. As some of you have already heard the story, I've had cancer twice, Hodgkin's disease. I talked a little bit about this in the last of the Transform Emotion into Energy series. And in that experience that I learned valuable lessons twice over. Sometimes I'm a bit stubborn and I need to hear lessons twice over. Anybody else with me? Do you need to sometimes hear something more than once or experience it more than once to have it have an impact for you? Well, I've never forgotten it after the second time. The first time I got cancer, and there's always tons of variables behind all of these things, but the common thing that I personally noticed when I had cancer the first time was I was losing passion for my work. I was lost in medical school when that wasn't the right fit for me. It wasn't that I couldn't do it, it's that it wasn't bringing me the passion that I needed, and I was feeling burnt out. And that's why there is a tagline, which I'll share in just a moment, for Buddhas and Butterflies. The second time I had cancer, I had lost passion for my marriage, and it just wasn't working. We had tried to heal, we tried going to, all the counselors, and we just had to look at it honestly and say this wasn't right for us anymore. Through both of those experiences, I've learned the importance of listening to my little inner voice and saying, unless that brings you passion, just don't do it. And here's why. I'm a huge lover of quotes. If you are too, then you might really adore this one as much as I do. And with every workshop that I've ever offered, there's usually a quote or a tagline of sorts. So I called it a tagline earlier. It's actually technically a quote. So Buddhas and Butterflies is about transforming emotional and mental well-being for health practitioners. And I have a very different understanding of what that looks like. A lot of people think, here comes the quote, while burnout obviously has something to do with stress, overdoing things, not being centered on listening to yourself or your body. Yeah, a lot of people think that way. I think that this next piece is even more important to that all. And the quote continues, one of the deepest contributors to burnout, I believe, is the deep disappointment of not living up to your true calling, which is to help. And that has been my true calling since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. I have vivid memories of my early childhood, and I remember being 3 years old, playing with one of my favorite toys. It was my doctor's kit, and that was the only way that I knew how to help people. So literally from being 3 years old, I was trying to help my teddy bears. I was trying to solve my fictional characters' problems in my Dr. Seuss books. I was an avid reader as a kid, still am today. And I know that that passion for helping people is likely within you too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. Now, I said that this is for healthcare practitioners. So let's just talk briefly about what a health practitioner is. I have a very loose, broad definition of that because I really, truly believe that health is holistic. It is meant to be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual well-being at its finest. Yeah. So hands up if you agree with that philosophy of health. Give me a little like, a comment of like, yes, so agree. Or if that quote that I just mentioned touched you, let me know if that resonates for you. If you've been feeling that sense of wanting to help but not sure how to do it, there's this maybe a little bit of disappointment or maybe even a lot that's starting to grow about not being able to execute and live up to your truest calling. This is what I help people do. And I cannot think of a better way to do that than in this opportunity. And I'm making it perhaps the most ridiculously affordable thing you're ever going to come across because I know what it takes to run a business as a healthcare practitioner. Whether you're just starting out, whether you're experienced, it's always trying to keep your overhead a little bit low. If you're just starting out and you have taken like thousands of courses or even just a couple of trainings, and you just don't want to invest too much more, well, that's usually where people get stuck when they're first starting out. They think, I have to do something with this business. How am I going to get anywhere with it all? Yeah, well, that's true. But unless you're investing in yourself, then you might not be able to do what you need to do to grow that business. And not a lot of the courses out there are teaching you how to take care of yourself. They don't think that that's a priority. What I know is unless you do that first, nothing else works in this business. Now, more on that price point in just a moment. It is ridiculously low and it is done on purpose and it's intentional, and I'll explain why I did it at this price, okay? So first, let me go back and talk about what is a health practitioner. Very broad definition of that, again, as I mentioned, because I think that there is a ton of territory to cover when it comes to well-being. So I firmly believe that health practitioners can be anyone and everyone, from like a medical doctor and a naturopath to a mom to a caregiver. If you work with elderly, if you work with children in daycares, you are, I believe, one of our frontline workers when it comes to being a health provider. If you're teaching yoga, if you're a personal trainer, if you're a chiro, if you're a massage therapist, if you're an energy worker, if you do body talk, Helio Soul, Access Consciousness, whatever it may be, if you're a nutritionist, if you're a teacher of any sort, you're actually providing mental health for people. Yeah? You have the opportunity to engage with it from that perspective if you wish. Yeah? Doctors, vets, I mentioned them, herbalists, acupuncturists, who have I not talked about? Homeopathy, counselors, psychologists, aromatherapists. The list goes on and on and on. So this is something that I've designed to support health practitioners using energy work to really transform their emotional experiences. The underpinning of emotions is always relating to belief systems. So when we can address them together, which we do in this series quite well, we can see dramatic transformation happen, which gives the ability for those emotions to return back to the energy source from where they came from. If you're wondering what all those emotions are and what their natural healthy rules are, then jump into Transform Emotions into Energy. I go through all of it there for you in great detail. Tough to recap that in an hour live because every one of those emotions we spent about an hour, a little bit more on for most of them. Okay, everybody. This is your reminder to hydrate. Several times, yes. I'm getting lots of great comments. Thanks everyone for being here. Okay, we are about to dive into just a little bit more info on this. Okay, so I've been getting lots of questions about this series, and I promise to tackle those in just a moment. Know that this Buddhism Butterflies is all about helping healthcare practitioners maintain their quality of mental and emotional health so you can best serve your populations, whatever that is. That might be your children at home. That might be your friends. That might be your family. That might be your entire business. So I know that the best way to help healthcare practitioners is on an ongoing basis. The best way that I found to do it, and the best results that I see people get, is when they're diligently showing up month after month. Those are the people that are successful. The problem is not everybody is able to pay in that same way and come for weekly sessions. My rates are $180 a session. Yeah, if you come for one. I have package rates as well that make it slightly more affordable, but that knocks out a lot of people from the running, and especially from doing like weekly sessions. So in this experience, you get 3 sessions a month plus 1 integration week where we do releasing work. We work with Q&A sessions, and I'm a pretty good wizard at being able to come up with whatever the exercises are that you need to chew on to help you move through whatever block you're in. I've been engaging in designing those exercises for well over a decade, and I have over 40 courses out to help with that. Some of them are available on vibranttransformation.com. If you go to workshops, you'll see them there, and you'll see new ones and fresh ones rotating through along with the beloved oldies, so to speak, because I still have people clamoring for those. The other aspect to this is because I get flooded with requests to engage in mentorship, to how do you do that? What's your tip? What's your trick? I get those questions every single day. This is another avenue where we have more access and more time to play with questions like those on our Q&A and our integration weeks. Okay? And you have the opportunity when you dive into this as the founders of it all. That's why it's called the Founders Launch. It's not the Founders Launch because I'm the founder. It's the Founders Launch because you guys are the foundational members. Because you're diving into that, that means you're also committing to giving feedback as to how it is you want to see this offering structured. And the framework is there, but how do we do that? Do you want it live? Do you want it pre-recorded? That's going to be the very first question I send out to everybody. Yeah, and the Q&A off portion will definitely be live. We'll figure out what times work best for everybody. And those are the types of decisions that you guys will get to have feedback and have an impact on. From there, know that we're going to be tackling all the different emotions, fear, anger, grief, worry, sadness, and all the other combos, as well as the variations therein and thereof. And we're going to be doing that in a rotating schedule as we make our way through the chakras. You'll see the schedule on vibranttransformation.com. Just click on workshops and you'll see Buddhas and Butterflies right there. There's other ones there too. If you click on Buddhas and Butterflies, you'll see the schedule. And every Wednesday, we'll hang out together, either pre-recorded or live. You get to choose how you want to do it. And I'll have all the, even if it's a live one, I will always record everything and make it available, I promise, okay? And we're going to go through them one at a time. So we're going to start off with the base chakra. So week 1, we're going to dive into transforming fear in the base chakra. And then in week 2, we're going to dive into transforming anger in the base chakra. Week 3, transforming grief in the base chakra. And gradually, layer by layer, we go deeper and deeper and deeper until we do a full deep dive, deep clean in this way. If you're thinking what happens after we run out of chakras, well, we have elements. We have 5 elements that we're going to be exploring, 12 astrological houses, 5 senses, and a whole lot more. And that's just to get the ball rolling. Those are also some of the impact and feedback that you get to contribute to. Where would you like to work next after we go through the chakras? I have an idea. I have lots of possibilities. By popular vote, we'll get to decide. Now, the rates for this is like ridiculously low. It will never, ever, ever be offered at this rate again. The reason it's at this low rate is because this is a brand new offering where you guys get to have some impact, and you are going to be receiving requests for feedback every couple of weeks or so. So because of that, that is amazing that you're willing to sign up to give feedback, and I'm happy to say thank you right back. The rate is $57 a month or $570 for a year. To sweeten the pot even more, you get, and I've never done this before ever, but I feel it's important for this particular program to offer it with bonuses, because these are the bonuses that are going to be really, really helpful. And some of you know because you've done these courses already. Others of you might be wondering what the buzz is all about. And this is, well, the easiest way to get in on it. Now, the 2 bonuses are, 1, treat your heart. In treat your heart, we go into the different chambers of the heart. We look at what that is reflecting within the brain. There is so much information there, and it's only been available to me as I train to become a free fall instructor within the Body Talk system. So that's where that information comes from. The second one is called Core Reveal and Release, and it's using advanced bioenergetics along with the Sedona method work to do a phenomenal amount of releasing in, again, the most efficient, effective way, and very gentle that I know how. That leads me to the name. The name Buddhas and Butterflies came about because, well, Buddha Zen consciousness represents tremendous stillness and joy. It's that calm, assertive type of stillness and joyfulness that all seems to collide together into that magical experience of Zenness. So that's what Buddha represents. Butterflies represent transformation. So we're going to be exploring transformation in one of the most deepest, stillest transformational opportunities by going deep into Buddha Zen consciousness. That is the work that we are hanging out together to get to do. Yeah. And the super cool part is with those rates and that bonus, additionally, there's a 21-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not sure or you just want to try it out, you get to dive in, try that out, and you can see what it's all about. Okay. So I had somebody ask, what happens if, I need to cancel after the 21 days? You can definitely cancel whenever you like. There's no time limit. However, I think when you see the value of what you're getting, just do the math on The bonuses alone are over $600, and to pay for 1 year of this is under $600. That's amazing in and of itself. So even if you stay for just a year, you've literally gotten the bonuses for technically free. Yeah. As well as all of the other info within the month-to-month content. So every month you're getting 3 sessions, almost 4, because that 4th week, it's kind of a free-for-all. We're going to go where we need to go and do what we need to do to clean up whatever remains for anybody that hasn't quite settled from the first few sessions. That also gives you time to not rush. It gives you time to integrate things with ease. So those first 3 weeks are targeting fear, anger, grief. Then we take an integration week. Then we go into worry, sadness over excitement. And then we go into all the other combo emotions like apathy, blame. Anybody have any shame, disappointment, jealousy, overwhelm going on? Yeah. So all of that we're going to be covering in that final week. And then we have, again, an integration week. Okay. All right, loves. So for this, I apologize for all the dog scratching that's happening in the background. Charlie cannot get comfortable in his dog bed. He is going to make it comfortable come heck or high water, though. Okay. All right. Charlie, no. Good. He's settled now. So for this, that's going to be what we're doing as a routine. We're going to apply that piece by piece into every one of those elements, meridians, houses, etc., as we make our way through the material. Okay, loves, give yourselves a slow, deep breath. And if you have any questions, comments, queries, this is the time to post them. I'm just going to go through and see. Carolyn says, I'm super excited about being a part of this. Me too. I'm really happy to be a part of this as well. And I'm really excited to have you guys on board with me. You guys are some of my favorite people to hang out with, man. Because, you know, I mean, I adore, like, head over heels ridiculously in love with my husband. I love spending time with him. He just doesn't want to talk about this stuff in the same way that I do. Yeah, and when I get my friends together, you know, he happily hangs out with the conversation and he'll even contribute and be a part of it. But I know that it's not ultra his jam. So this is your guys' jam. This is my jam. I love being able to spend time and have that kind of a supportive community while we do it in that way. So happy. So in terms of, one sec, hi everybody, hydrate. Who this is right for and who this is not for. Let's dive into this. This is not for anybody who thinks that there is just one fix out there. If this is just like people have that fantasy of I have to meet my one and only person that I could ever connect with, which is a huge, devastating fallacy. Can you imagine only having one person that you can connect with and have a romantic relationship with? Man, what if they're like, you know, across the world and you never get to find them? That would be really crappy. Yeah. Same thing here. If you think this is like the one cure-all, fix-all for everything, and this is becoming your new ultra obsession, then I'm going to suggest that this is not the place for you. However, if you are really keen to commit to that, then know that this is an opportunity for anyone and everyone who's just looking for a new place to come from in their life. Maybe they're a bit burnt out. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they're fatigued, overwhelmed, exhausted. Maybe they're feeling like a failure. Sometimes we feel like a failure instead of feeling overwhelmed because we don't have any other language for it. Yeah? I'm getting people signing up, and you can probably hear the dinging in the background. I'm just going to close my email. There we go. Okay, apologies for that. And if you'd like a new experience, either out there in your workplace or, and I consider if you're a mom, your house is your workplace. FYI, you are in work 24/7, 365. I know you know that, but I don't know if everybody else knows that. So I do not have kids. I fully empathize. I have seen the ups and downs of people supporting their children and tackling doing a business outside of the home as well. And man, oh man, you guys are ultra rock stars. I can't even imagine. I have 3 dogs, and as you already heard, sometimes stuff just doesn't always work well when you have little ones running around your household and you're trying to achieve a certain XYZ in a day. Yeah, I understand that. I can empathize. I've not had the experience, and I have mad props going out to you all. And if you are a mom who is not interested in having a business and you are interested in supporting your health of your kids, then welcome. This is the perfect place for you to be, to maintain your own sanity. So that way you can do the best job you know how to do in being the parent that you can be for your kids. Huh? And I keep saying moms. I really need to amend that. I really mean mothering. I accidentally call like females and males masculine and feminine all the time. I don't even really see a difference anymore. So know that if this is reaching some fathers' ears who are single dads and you are the mom and the dad in your household, or you do the majority of the mothering activity in your household, then this is for you as well. Okay, totally opening that wide open. Huh? Now, if you're looking to have a new experience, a new place to come from, in yourself or in your place of work, then this is a great stepping stone to do that with. If you're a newer practitioner, you're unsure, there's that like irrational critic and doubter inside of you, it's getting really, really loud, this is the perfect place to be here with, because you're going to get the support that you need in transcending those emotional blockages. And there are so many, and I know 15 years in the industry, I get it. I have done the new person stuff, and I have been through the middle of the pack stuff when you're, just in it and you're overwhelmed because you're working 40 hours a week. Plus, usually most people in this industry end up overworking. They burn themselves out. They often end up in addiction. They often end up in mental health issues. They often end up committing suicide. And that's a tide that I would like to turn. So I hope you join me in being able to share that message with anyone and everyone that is stressed out in that industry. Let them know this is available as a supportive measure for them. And if you sign up before tonight, you get those bonuses, because I love to honor people who are committing. And if you're committing, I want to honor that and commit right back to you with those bonuses as a thank you. If you're not signing up before the end of tonight, it's okay. You still have 2 more days. It doesn't close till June 2nd. I really want anyone and everyone to get everything that they can out of this. And that is my best offer to you all, to get everything that you can. So dive on into it before midnight tonight. Share with as many people as you can before midnight tonight. So there's a lot of things happening at midnight tonight. The bonuses expire along with the Transform Emotions into Energy series. So that's what we've got going on tonight. Busy night tonight. Okay? If you are an experienced practitioner and you're getting kind of unsure about, should I still be in this industry? Where am I going with it? Am I overwhelmed? Is this actually my passion still? What do I want out of life? What do I want out of my practice? How do I take it to the next level? How do I make even more impact? How do I serve my personal call to health to its highest potential? I promise you, I've navigated those waters as well. If you've had a nervous breakdown and you're looking to heal that, I've had that experience too. I'm only sharing these things because, well, this is important for you to know that you should really not trust people who haven't had those experiences, who are trying to facilitate you through it. You want the people who have been through the waters, who have swam through the other side and are suntanning on the other side of the shore. Huh? Those are the people who have run the gamut of the experience, and those are the people who can relate to you. So in terms of my own mental health, emotional health, and the well-being within them, know that, and I haven't talked about this a lot, but I have had a very long history of navigating the waters of depression, of anxiety. For a while, my anxiety was high functioning. Yay for high functioning anxiety. It makes you ultra productive. And then for a while it wasn't. So I was like, oh my gosh, who am I without my productivity? It was actually doing the exact opposite. It was dragging me down. There was a nervous breakdown thrown in there for good measure. And it's been an interesting journey to figure out how to navigate that and keep showing up for people. How do you have your life fall apart one day and then 3 hours later have to drive to another city, present a one-day seminar, drive back, and then walk into your house and have to deal with that? I've done that more than I'd like to acknowledge, in all honesty. And it's not the acknowledging part. It's just like, whew, those have been some learning lessons. Amen. If you have been through the same waters and you have learned the lessons in this way. That baptism by fire, though, the upside to that is that I get to, in turn, share it right back with you. So that's why I'm always really grateful for, yes, even the conflicts that come my way. Sounds kind of odd, I know. Sounds counterintuitive, I know. Without those, I wouldn't be able to do what I can do, and I wouldn't be able to know what you're experiencing, and I wouldn't be able to have the same empathy, wisdom, or be a tour guide. If you drop me into the Arctic, I can't give you a tour because I haven't been there. But I have sure spent a lot of time traveling and navigating the landscape of the psyche of healthcare practitioners. Okay, everybody hydrate. If you are looking for community and support, if you're looking for another way, if you're ready to embrace another level of vulnerability, and sometimes you know that, just not usually in the form of, I'm ready to embrace new vulnerability. Nobody I know says that or does that. Usually it shows up in the form of what, and I swear, so brace yourselves, I actually remember to warn people this time, what in the actual fuck is going on right now? What is actually happening to me in my life? Like, what? Did that just happen? Huh? If you are experiencing some soap opera drama type of stuff going on in your life, that's a sign. Usually that we're ready to step into another level of vulnerability. It is your call to vulnerability. Desperation is always going to throw you back in on yourself. And this is an opportunity to explore what that looks like. Allow me to be your tour guide through this all. Okay, what else can I say to you about this all? If you're looking to do this in a way that's more lighthearted and doesn't feel so tough and grindy, then I've got a way of working that I think that might just work for you. I love to use humor. I have a bit of a dark sense of humor, sometimes sarcastic, and never aimed at the person I'm working with, just aimed at their blockages to show you the ridiculousness of why it's there. So if you like using humor and comedy, I promise to throw that in there. I'm not the type of person who's like a waka 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 type of a comedian. I usually accidentally trip into it because it just is so funny when we see the irony of these things. We often place emotional blockages as a form of protection when they usually end up blocking the things that we're looking for ultimately. And that is hilarious to me. I think it's so funny. And we do it time and time again. Yeah, so if you like to laugh, if you like to see the lightheartedness and within the heaviness, I promise you that. I am not a love, light, rainbow, sunshine, everything will work out just fine type of a person. Not me. If that's what you're looking for, and then you know right now that you won't find that here ever. That is not within me to provide. I actually think that that's toxic personally, because that doesn't happen. That's not realistic. You are going to hit challenges. You are going to hit conflicts. Life is going to fall the fuck apart on you on occasions. That's how it gets your attention. And that thing that it's getting your attention about is begging you to explore it. If you don't explore it with a little pebble, it'll just get louder. It'll throw you a stone, a boulder, a whole house might fall on you. Yeah. Before you finally go, oh, okay, I better look at that. And then when you look at it, relief is always the experience. We just often run away from it thinking that it's scarier than it is. Yeah. So my role is really to show you that it's not. And that's what I do for a living. And I love doing it because when people see and get surprised by the relief that's there and the thing that they were afraid to even look at, they can't believe it. And they light up from the inside out and they go, oh, I didn't know that that could not be scary. I didn't know that that actually might even be fun, that I might even like it. Yeah. Ironically, and this is going to sound weird, I know, the scariest thing that I see people do is take in more joy. In all the years that I've worked with people and in the variety of ways that I have, groups, one-on-one, pre-recorded live, doesn't matter. The ultimate thing that people seem to be afraid of is their natural birthright energy of accessing their fullest joy and potential within them. And this offering is the easiest way I know how to debunk all of that BS that you've been feeding yourself about that. I promise you that that joy is here. And I promise you that that joy is your life force. It is your anchor. It is your vitality. It's never been missing. And it might just be the most ridiculously awesome, fun, lighthearted thing you can do is by connecting to that. So how do you connect to that? Well, we just have to clear out what's in the way of what's cluttering up over top of it. I talked a lot in the Transform Emotions into Energy series about like jawbreakers and gobstoppers, those candies where we just like peel back the layers, and at the very core, there's always joy. It's never missing. Are you? Yeah. So we're going to be exploring that. If you're craving self-connection, if you've lost that sense of who it is you are, we're going to be working with that. If you're just intrigued and you want to learn more about what this all work is all about, sign in, dive in, go for it. And if you'd like to address your, and this one's really important, that's why I save it to near the end, your addiction to emotions. And yes, you all have an addiction to an emotion. Some of you might be addicted to avoiding your emotions. Some of you might love sadness. Some of you might love anger. We're going to look at where did that come from? From early childhood, we get these hits over and over again that affect us. But then we learn that as long as we navigate those waters, mom and dad will continue to love us and care for us, and our survival will continue. So we actually later on in life start to associate that hit, that emotional hit, with, oh, and now here's where I get to survive and thrive, maybe even. Yeah, the thriving never actually happens. All that you do is you re-engage that neurochemistry, the biochemical pathways all over again that were set up in early childhood for you. And now it's creating the same like woohoo adrenaline buzz that you got from it back then from being able to survive it. But now it's not actually getting your needs met anymore. So we're going to be clearing out all those old ways of how you thought getting your needs met worked for you. And we're going to be diving into where your needs actually get met from, that core of joy that's always there. Okay, giving this all a slow, deep breath again. I've thrown a ton of information at you. I promise to dive into the integration piece here in just a moment. I'm just going to check. And if you have questions, comments, queries, please do throw them on in here. I have one. This might be exactly what I need because you just described where I'm at right now. Yeah. Anybody else feel that way? Like, you're welcome to, just raise your hand up if you don't want to be seen on social media. If you're hiding, I get it. I'm a professional hider as well. Ironically, you won't know that by the amount of Facebook Lives that I've been doing. Hardcore introvert, professional hider for sure. But in a way, I still get to do that. I'm just hiding behind the computer screen. I love working live too. And I am doing a ton of live seminars coming up. You can read all about that on vibranttransformation.com. I don't shirk that portion at all. If you know me, you know that I love to challenge wherever it is I think I'm a little bit stuck too. Yeah. So yes, so happy. If this is calling your name, then I invite you to head on over and dive in. And if you've already done that, let me know. I'd love to hear that on the Facebook chat. I know a few people have already said, I've already signed up. I'm in. I know you are. Thank you. And thank you for letting everybody else know that you're in. So we're going to be exploring humility, honesty, authenticity, compassion. I'm chuckling because I'm throwing out like these gigantic concepts and words, and it's taking everything within me not to dive into like an hour-long lecture on all of these because I have so much to say about all of these concepts. Compassion, gratitude, harmony, relationship with self and with others. I see them as the exact same. I really don't even distinguish the difference between them anymore. Intimacy, into myself I see. Okay. sensuality and sexuality. Where sensuality and sexuality combine is where the magic happens. Where masculine and feminine energy meets is where the magic happens. That is what gives rise to the spark of energy, okay? When we have awareness, feminine, meeting action, masculine, then that's when we are utilizing everything that we have within us to its fullest potential. If we're just diving into awareness and wallowing, then nothing ever changes. Have you had those days, months, years where, decades maybe, where you've just had those experiences, you know what's happening, but then you just keep wallowing in it? And you just keep doing the same thing over and over, nothing changes? That's a masculine feminine imbalance. There's not enough masculine or sexual energy present. I use those words interchangeably a lot as well, present to make that shift happen for you. Some of you are on the other side of things where you're just like running off half-cocked, taking lots of action, but you don't necessarily have the awareness that you need to be able to make those actions actually make a helpful difference and have impact. So where the magic happens is where that balance hits. So we're going to be doing that through awareness, becoming aware of the emotion that's here, and then what to do. Take action. Wallowing in it all day long and feeling it all day long, that's great that you're feeling it, and it's great that you're wired to be that aware of it. It's just not helpful unless you're actually taking action to do something about it. So, and same thing on the other side. You can't just be running around doing things without having the awareness of where you want that focus to be. And I'm all about living fully. Why compromise? Why live in one or the other? We're going to be doing it all. Yeah, no halvesies. Oh, I don't think I've used the words halvesies since I was a kid, so I'm clearly feeling very playful today. Hope you guys are too. So this is, like I said, the Founders Launch, only available for the next 3 days now until the end of June 2nd. And I really think that I've answered a lot of the questions that I've got and everything that I've said. However, if I haven't answered your question and you want more on anything, you just let me know. And if you're not on the live, you're listening to the recording, you just send me a message, and that gives me the opportunity to address them in either another live or in a format that works for you. You just let me know, okay? All right, gang, without any further ado, I promise you a bit of the integration work. And if you haven't participated in that series and you don't have no idea what it is you're integrating, that's okay. You might have something else that you're integrating in your life. You might have a decision. Am I taking this class or not, for instance, to integrate? You might have a new project that you're working on and it's been stirring things up for you and you might need to integrate that. You might have a family thing going on that you need to integrate. Yeah, you might have something else going on in your personal life that you might need to integrate. We're going to do a little mini demo session. For those of you who know, I work with Body Talk. For those of you who are wondering what that is, you can head to YouTube and read all about it there. In this series, I'm also opening up all the other modalities, so we'll see what pops up for any of those. I never rig it to have to include other modalities. I will rig it if I want to just focus on one modality, but I'm going to be opening it up. So my framework typically is Body Talk, and then I'll be integrating the other modalities as they arise. I have background in Helio Soul. I founded the Reveal and Release work, so that's my work, as well as I have training in Healing Touch and Reiki. And oh yeah, I went to medical school. I have a degree in anatomy. I have a degree in psychology. That's my quickie blurb about me and the work that I'll be using in the background that I come from when I do this work. If you haven't already heard, I have 3 doggies, and I have a passion and a total love for all things to do with nature. And Taiko Drumming is my new hobby that I'm really excited. So I've been trying to figure out how I can include Taiko Drumming as a part of this. I haven't figured out how just yet, predominantly because I don't own my own, and all the group's drums are in another location. And if you're wondering, Taiko drum is like the big Japanese drums, and you go like so. But every time I do it, there's this like massive clearing, and there's this massive connection between my hara and my heart energy, which is the staple behind Reveal and Release 1 and 2 work. Okay, gang, give yourselves a slow, deep breath. Make your way, if you haven't already, to a nice, quiet, cozy place where you can either sit or lay and be undisturbed for your session. Now that you've had a chance to think about what you might be integrating, I think we're ready to dive in. Okay. And just beginning here by means of breathing, giving yourself a few slow, deep inhales and exhales. Using every breath as an opportunity to release and let go. And begin to feel yourself sink even deeper into that cushion below you. We're going to bring in some Buddha energy right off the bat. I put my Buddha painting in the screen for those of you who can see that. And the first thing that I'm seeing is I invite the group energy, and I should clarify when I invite the group energy to come in, that includes everyone who's here as well as everyone who will be listening to the replay at whatever timing that happens down the road. I tested out that way of working before I actually dove in and offered seminars in that fashion well over a decade ago. And what I know for sure is each and every time I do something, people go, are you talking about like just me? Like, no, we're talking about everybody. I'm pretty sure that was just for me. Yeah, I know, because we're all far more alike than we are different. This is why I can effectively address health practitioners across the board, whether you're a mom or a chiro, whether you are a RMT or a caregiver. It does not matter. We all face the same challenges because we are all far more alike than we are different. Okay, love. So as I invite the group energy in, the first thing I'm seeing is brain drain. Brain drain is lymphatic circulation within the brain. Think of all the thoughts, all the mental clutter, all the static energy that might be here, any fogginess, whatever is here for you, any excuses, distractions, feeling overwhelmed, whatever it is that's cluttering up the works, we're actually going to be flushing that out with lymph. Lymph drains your toxins, gunk, waste, low self-esteem, overthinking, and overanalyzing. As it's doing all of those things for you, it is effectively going to be like managing your fluids. So it's going to make sure there isn't excess fluid buildup somewhere else in your body. When excess fluid buildup happens, that's like stagnant joy. Hydration helps cells to absorb water and joy. You've heard that perhaps from me before. When water is lost in the body and you're becoming bloated, then that creates a problem. There is this huge stagnation of joy that's hanging out. So we use the lymph system to actually recirculate those fluids. So as it's doing all those other jobs, it's also redistributing your fluids as well as your joy. How cool is that? Lymph is one of the heaviest hitters I know in terms of this work. And we don't have lymph doctors in this part of the world, in North America. We have a couple of specialists in Europe, but we don't consider that to be a big thing in Western medicine. Yet the lymph system is massive, and it's probably the most impactful thing on all avenues of health that I've ever seen. As we're running this brain drain, we're going to do it not just for the head brain. You also have an entire brain in your heart. There's more nerve cells here than there are here. And you have a massive amount of nerve cells in your gut brain, your enteric nervous system. So we're actually going to be doing it for all three brains. As we do that, we're also going to be integrating simultaneously by running Pancreas Reflex Point. Pancreas Reflex Point is an acupuncture point called Spleen 21. Spleen and pancreas had a bit of a mix-up in their, naming, and I talked more about that in the Transform Emotion into Energy series, so I won't go into it here again. Essentially, this particular point can be found roughly where an underwire bra would end on your left-hand side of your rib cage. Most men I know don't particularly care for that analogy. So let me just explain that a little bit better for you. You take one hand, your right hand, including your thumb, underneath a left armpit, and then you're going to feel for right around where this joint is on your pinky finger for a point that's a bit tender. That's roughly where your pancreas reflex point is. You can find it now. If you're not noticing anything in particular, don't worry about it. We're taking care of it here on this end. Some people don't feel a tenderness or can't find that spot right off the bat. And that's usually because it's just numbed out over the years. So no worries. I'm taking care of all the hard work on this end. So as we are doing this brain drain, we're also running pancreas reflex point. And then we're also going to go into the governing vessel meridian along with the spinal canal. So the governing vessel meridian runs in the midline of the back body, and it starts at the perineum, space between either vagina and anus, or perineum, or testes and anus, pardon me, is where your perineum is. And as it starts at that point, it runs up the middle of the back body, and it's circulating all things masculine. This is around all things to do with healing, creativity, vitality, productivity, making things happen, getting things done. It also helps you to have a sense of trust in yourself and trust in others, in the universe, and not the gullible type of trust. That's not what trust is. Trust is not gullibility. Trust is trust. Yeah, so it gives you that inner radar to be able to figure out where you need to be placing your trust. What's the discernment? So this is helpful to integrate the trusting that the work is there and allowing it in to do what it needs to do. Yeah. And as we are running this, we're also going into the middle of the spinal canal, and we're circulating that same energizing masculine energy via that governing vessel meridian through the spinal canal. As it's working its way through the spinal canal, we're also working with hydration, because governing vessel meridian can be a little bit hot sometimes. So hydration is going to temper that and make sure that it doesn't get hot, that it stays nice and cool without overheating you. So there's a balance always with masculine, feminine. Hydration helps those cells, again, to absorb water and joy. As it does that, though, it releases impurities. And we're specifically targeting the impurity of self-doubt. So we're going to do all of that. And that's usually the thing that's getting in the way of trust, specifically trusting your own inner radar of what feels right, your own inner compass, your own inner connection to who it is you are. Okay? You're welcome to take a hand anywhere along the body, whatever calls to you the most, any of those areas that I've talked about working with, or anywhere along that governing vessel meridian pathway, the spine. And we're going to go ahead and tap this all in. You're welcome to tap. You're welcome just to lay back, sit back, and breathe. Breathing is the most important thing you can do here. I'll take care of all the tapping on this end. If you are joining, we tap over head brain. I tend to tap over the gut brain before I get into tapping over the heart brain, but you can do it in your own timing. Okay. Give that another slow, deep inhale and exhale. I'm going to keep tapping that in for you all. Okay, gang. Now, next up, we're going to head into the temporal lobes of the brain. These are the outer layers of the brain. They work with language and hearing. It also works with helping you to hear your own inner thoughts, your own inner sense of what feels right for you. We were talking about trusting yourself. I think an integration of anything occurs that much easier when we can trust our sense of it. If we're still trying to figure out, was that right? Was that wrong? It gets in the way of integration. So we're going to work with this area, and then we're going to connect it through to the entire limbic emotional brain. And as we do that, it is working with all of those emotions: fear, anger, grief, worry, sadness, overexcitement, and beyond, that are here running the show. These are the ones that are creating the vitality. They all have their own little molecules. Dr. Candace Pert wrote a book called The Molecules of Emotion. You can learn more about the science stuff there if you're keen. So they all have their own little molecules. And we just want to make sure that those molecules are at the right balance for you. And the way that those molecules get taken up is through receptors. So the way that we really balance this is by making sure the receptor sites are clear and they're able to take in the right balance for you. So we all have that tendency to like walk in the house and like, throw your computer bag here and your purse there, or your groceries there, the peanut butter goes there, the bottles of water go over there. And then we, run to the washroom and we kind of forget about the stuff, kind of like receptors. We often end up just like, putting a little bit of clutter here and there. So it's time to declutter. It's time to take out the debris. So let's declutter. What is getting in the way of you moving forward in whatever avenue of health and healing that you're interested in? Well, that's what we're cleaning out, is those sabotages and those destructive patterns. As we take it out of there, we're also cleaning out the same sabotage or destructive pattern from your thymus gland. We're doing this all with what's called cellular repair. It restores cells back to their fullest potential of health. And we're also bringing in the color of green to support that. Green is very much the color of the heart, and it helps to create harmony. So we're using that here. As we do that, we're also just adjusting the back body a little bit. What I'm seeing is a little bit of schlumpiness, and we're just loosening up the connective tissue within the lower back so that it can actually have the room and the freedom to have the vitality again, to move forward, to literally like lift you back up again. The schlumpiness also happens when we have adrenal burnout and fatigue. To support that, some of you will resonate with this more so than the low back stuff. We're going to go into the adrenals. And what I'm seeing right now is just this like bing, way frazzled energy, way over the top, insane amounts of activation here. And even though you feel exhausted, the adrenals just keep whipping and whipping themselves to try to produce more energy. And they're using almost like the energy of false positivity and false motivation to do that with. And motivation is not inspiration. Motivation is freaking exhausting. Inspiration, to light up a new light bulb, gives energy. Motivation is, you can do it, just keep going, you'll make it, get it through that marathon, get through that marathon of your day, the marathon of your life. Is it 26 miles? There's 26 mile. Whatever it is in a marathon. Yeah, clearly have not ran a marathon. Otherwise, I would know for sure. I don't think I'd ever forget how many miles I ran if I ran a marathon. I once ran a kilometer. I was very happy and proud of that. I love physical activity. I love moving my body. Typically, running hasn't been the best for this body mind so far. We'll see where life takes me. I can never say never. This I know for sure. Okay. Back to the session. So as we're sorting out the exhausted adrenals, what's already underway here is supporting them with circulation of all the basic healing resources. This is including blood that carries our passion, nerve our communication, lymph that drains toxins, gunk, waste, low self-esteem, overthinking, overanalyzing. We're also circulating that chi or vitality, consciousness or awareness into the electrons, protons, solitons, neutrons. We're also going to be circulating and balancing the overall masculine, feminine, the yin to the yang, as well as running another round of hydration and circulating endorphins, hormones, and endocannabinoids here. As we circulate the endocannabinoids, they lower inflammation, they lower anxiety, they lower depression, and they help our immune and our nervous systems alike to heal. So we need to actually circulate a ton of endocannabinoids here, okay? And endocannabinoids, I go on to talk about those in a couple of different spots. So if you'd like more information on that, you can check out the endocannabinoid energetic cleanse. I did a Facebook Live. I can't remember if I saved that one to YouTube, but if you scroll through the feed, you might see it there. It was a long time ago. So you have to scroll back a little bit, okay? For the adrenals, we also need to do just a little bit of TLC for the fascia. It's almost like the fascia in the back has gotten too loose and the fascia in the front of them have gotten too tight. So we're gonna shift gears so that they are more readily to not be so schlumpy and more interested in having that even keeled balance. It's also balancing the masculine to the feminine. Front body feminine, back body masculine. Front of the adrenals, feminine. Back of the adrenals, masculine. So we're just unwinding that, okay? And balancing your masculine, feminine energies. Anytime you balance masculine, feminine, you're also balancing action and awareness, as I talked about that earlier, okay? If you like, you're welcome to take a hand anywhere to your body. I'm going to put mine on the adrenals. And you're going to tap here. Give those all a slow, deep inhale and exhale. If you'd like to hold your adrenals and not be twisty, just hold them from your front body. Okay. To integrate this all, we are doing body talk cortices. If you want the video and a refresher on how to do this for yourselves after this, you can check it out. It's always available on my website. Just scroll down on any page. It's always in the footer, Learn Cortices. I'll talk about it briefly here now. It helps the two sides of your brain work better together. It's like hitting the reset button on your body's computer. Start by placing your fingers together on your skull bumpies. So this is your neck. These are your skull bumpies. And we're going to go ahead and tap here. Slow, deep inhales and exhales. You can tap the three brains in whatever order you like. I always love to end on the heart brain. That's the save it button. Again, if you want more on body talk, how to learn the basics of all the work that we're doing, you can check that out on my YouTube channel. Okay. Then you're going to squiggle up a hand position. Again, just honor your own timing, tapping over all three brains. Take all the time you need in any given hand position. We recommend tapping for a minimum of 2 breaths. When you're ready, squiggle up. If your hand's in the way, not a big deal. You can tap right over top of that. You're going to keep going all the way up to the eyebrows. There's a really important part of your brain that lives here, so make sure you cover that. Excuse me. Just releasing through the nose. If you hear gurgles in your tummy, that happens too when we release often. Might mean you're hungry, might mean your intestines are letting go of crap you just don't need to hang on to. This technique ends with the hands on the sides of the head. Placing your hands just by your temporal lobes again, just above the ears. Taking one hand off, does not matter which hand. And then we can do the other side. Okay. And that is body talk cortices. Give that all a slow, deep inhale and exhale. If you like, you can hydrate as well. Okay, loves. If you have any questions, comments, queries, know that I'm always available. You can always send those in. If you are keen to dive into learning more about Buddhas and butterflies, and I absolutely adore the fact that I get to do it in a membership format, and that is the very first time, actually, it's ever been done in this way. So this membership subscription works out to be, as I mentioned, one of the most ridiculously lowest priced offerings I've ever had, and it will only be offered at one time at this rate for founding members. That's you. So $57 a month, $570 a year, and if you sign up by tonight, you get the core reveal and release and your treat your heart bonuses. Okay. So I am so thankful for your support. I cannot wait to have you as a founding member with me. And I look really forward to diving into all this juicy detail. We get rolling on it all next week. So this starts on Wednesday. The reason I'm only leaving registration open until Sunday is so that I can focus on you guys. First, I'm going to take a day off. Monday is my day for hubby and me. He gets Mondays off too, to do nothing. We're putting our phones or computers away and we're just chilling out. And Tuesday will be a bit of a make sure everyone's on the right track. You get your emails, and Wednesday we get rolling and dive into it all. So this work starts pretty darn quick. So this is calling to you. If this is speaking to you, this is your sign. This is the reason why you are hearing this and seeing this here and now. You can check out on vibranttransformation.com, click on workshops. You'll see Buddhas and Butterflies there right at the very top. Actually, I think it's the very first one now that you'll see. And I really invite you to dive in, see if it speaks to you. Check me out on YouTube. If this style working for you works, then fantastic. That's one way that you know. If the content resonates with you, that's another way that you know that this is right for you. If you are in any of those categories that I talked about, you want a new place to come from, you're looking for a new experience, you're burnt out, you're looking for another way, you're looking for community support, you're a new experience and you're a new practitioner, you're an experienced practitioner, anywhere in the middle, and you've got that critic voice getting louder and louder. Those doubts seem to be getting louder and louder on you. I get it. I know it because I've lived it and I've traversed it. I know what it takes to walk that walk continuously for over 15 years. Yeah. Now, in this offering, you have the opportunity to continue to engage with me for at least once a month live. And then the 3 energy sessions will either be live or pre-recorded as per your votes, because you guys are founding members. You get the say on things like that. How cool is that? Okay. And I will be opening the doors again for this in the fall, but the rate will go up. And I don't know that I'll do it with the same bonuses. If ever again, I'll have bonuses. I'm doing it this one time. We'll see how it goes. I will let you know down the road. If this is at all speaking to you, then I invite you to take action now. And to honor that, for those early birds who are signing up right away, you get those bonuses. They expire at midnight. Okay, loves, I have a ton more that I could say and I could dive into, but I will talk your ears off indefinitely. And I know that your time is important as mine is. And just like everybody, we want to, spend all the time that we can making an impact in our healthcare practices, in your homes, in your honoring your health to yourself. So if you're keen to do that, I invite you to join me. And if you have any questions, comments, queries, I am available even after this live ends. You can definitely get a hold of me. You can send me an Instagram. You can send me a personal message. You can email me. You can text me, whatever you like. Okay. If you got value from the session, if you got value from hearing anything in particular, then I recommend sharing this with people. Let them know what's happening. And commenting, and sharing always helps us small business owners with the Facebook algorithms that exist. So we always appreciate that. I always joke, and it's not a joke at all, that sharing is my love language. Dave has heard me say that so much, and now he's almost neurotic about, did I forget to post that? Did I forget to share that? I'm so sorry. So I'm not creating rigid Nazis out there. In any way, so just know when I'm asking for that, if only do whatever feels right for you. You have your own inner guide. You have your own inner expert inside of you. Trust that and honor that. If you'd like to share this verbally with somebody, I invite you to do that too. It doesn't have to be on social media. If you like to email people, you can do it that way, whatever feels right for you. Okay. All right, my loves. I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to wish you a fabulous Friday, and just keep your eye out. I might be back this weekend to do another live, maybe 2. And I just can't help myself. I love doing body talk work and energy work across the board. So, those lives usually come with a little bit of that too. So stay tuned for more. Likely you'll see announcements. Just stay tuned. There's a Facebook event page for this. There's also, you can watch, it'll be on my personal profile and my business page, vibranttransformation.com. And you'll probably see it on Instagram too, if that's where you caught this. Okay. All right, loves, without further ado, go enjoy the gorgeous weather. And I hope that you have gorgeous weather out there. I think all weather is gorgeous at the end of the day, mind you, but there's something special about summer here in Saskatchewan. So I go and take advantage of every second I can. I hope you do too. Okay, bye for now, everybody.